talk about, because here's what my biggest motivation is, dude. You know, I've been a motivational speaker. I know you probably thought I was crazy as shit from the beginning when I told you about this, but it inspires me to inspire others, man. And when I know someone who has lived the passion, you know, like I'm an entertainer. I used to think I was a passionate musician. I'm not. I'm a passionate entertainer. And I just keep clicking from one thing to the next, right? And that's, for me, it's completely satisfying, and I find success in it. For you, you're the difference of a guitar player and a passionate guitar player.
There's rose petals, believe me, when I lay out those guitars, you know.
Yeah, well, but listen, man, you know, I've always been, I don't know if you think I stroke ego, but I've listened to music my whole life. Of course, it was huge in my life for so long. And you are an amazing guitarist. You really are. And I know that's hard, you know, because sometimes you're like, but there's so many better people. And talking, I know, man, but your noodling videos alone have people's fucking mouth on the floor going, bitch, can you teach me that? You know what I mean? So it's those kind of things, though, I want to talk about. Like gear stuff. I want to, here's one of the questions I've always had, and I've had people write in about questions to ask. Is about the gear that you use. How do you select it? I always thought, you know, like, hey, I love the sound of Eddie Van Halen, right? So I'll just copy everything he purchases. Well, that's a little out of my price range. So how do I get close to that on a budget? How do I get to express, you know?
Well, there's two things, actually, and this is all great podcast material that we'll definitely talk about. But it's like that thing of, you know, asking, you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. That is in a fundamental essence of, like, when you're talking about people who can make a living doing this, it's just sort of like, can you do this? Yep. And then, like, all right, I got to figure out how to do this. Just say yes. And then you have that thing. It's like, I own my own business now. And it's like, it's crazy. COVID, I was working for a music school. I was going to become a partner. I was going to help them turn into a franchise. Obviously, when there's a pandemic, you can't have a whole bunch of people in a room together. And the whole thing shut down. And then, like, they were charging an astronomical amount for lessons. And then I was just teaching from home through the company. And people were still paying that. So when the company went under, I was like, all right, well, what am I going to charge people? I was just like, well, they've been paying this rate the whole time, you know, so I'll just do that. But the whole thing was, it's like, okay, how do I teach? Like, imagine sitting in a room playing guitar with people. How do you do that over a computer? Like, I didn't have this set up, you know, it was just like, okay, this is what we're doing. So the whole point of you being like, I'm not really sure, but I have a passion for this and I want to do it. And I take, you know, inspiring people makes me happy. And now you're doing this. That's the in a nutshell, that's just what you got to do. You have a passion, you follow it, and then just figure it out along the way. Because most people have no idea what they're doing anyway. So, you know,
I know. And a cornerstone of what I always suggest to people, I don't know if I lost you, if you can hear me on there.
Yep.
You can still hear me. Okay.
Yeah. I kicked my desk, so it was maybe a little wiggly.
Oh, okay. I guess the main thing is, I've always said yes too, and I figured it out. And I think you've been to my comedy. I don't know if you saw it or you were at one of the shows. That wasn't because I was that great. What it was is because I said yes. I said yes to every opportunity. And as you know, I've always surrounded myself with people that share the same passion I do. Right. Because from that and from volunteering to be around those things and help arts progress, you end up in the same arena. And if you're announcing what you're passionate about at the time, you get opportunities. Everything from acting to comedy to new bands that I've joined all came from that action. And that's exactly what you do, which is why I wanted to feature you, man. And to show also that if it's a passion, a true passion, money isn't the objective. It's about finding a way to use that art to express yourself, because that is passion when you feel it. And that's why your music moves people, man.
Well, and it's that funny thing. If you go into it and you're trying to make money and you're trying to figure out what everybody else is doing, you're not going to make any money. At the moment you say, screw it, I'm just going to do what I want, and if people like it, cool, then it's genuine, and then surprise, surprise, like you actually start making some money doing it. So like that's the thing you got to wrap your brain around, of like you have to be prepared to fall flat on your face just doing what you love, and then it's genuine, and people are like, oh, okay, that's cool. It doesn't sound like 40 of those other dudes that are doing the same thing, you know? So when that's acting or comedy or, you know, it's like, that's the same deal.